Lightning like Steve McQueen. I'm in the fast lane when the light turns green. And I built tough, I ain't nothing but grit. Cause I made rugged blood, sweat, and spit. Yeah, like a horse I fly. Better push yourself in for a bumpy ride. I like to play hard, but I work harder. And I weather the storm cause I'm built stronger.
What is up, ladies and gentlemen? We are back. We are live. It is the Freight Coach Podcast, the top podcast in transportation, coming to you guys every single weekday, 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central, to break down some industry headlines. But most importantly, you guys provide some actual insight into what you can do with all of this information. If this is your first time tuning in, welcome. This is the real side of freight, ladies and gentlemen. And I say that before every single show. And what I mean by that is this is brought to you by transportation professionals for transportation professionals. That's all I want to do with this show, you guys, is to put the right information out there so you can apply it, utilize it, and see a meaningful difference in your business and your life. It is Tuesday. I got a very special guest for you guys to come on. He was one of my early supporters of the show, early advertiser. And you know, he's back on to talk about automation, and we're going to talk about what it means for the industry. What are some fallacies that are out there? And we're just going to kind of break it down like we always do on the show. So with that being said, I got my man Juan Baena back on the show, looking all dapper with those glasses on. Let's go.
One doesn't work 12 hours a day for 15 years without, on front of a screen without having to go to the eye doctor. So there we go.
I'm getting there, man.
Hard.
I'm starting to notice that myself about driving at night now. Like my eyes are getting really sensitive to headlights.
Yeah, it's progressive. It's progressive.
Dude,
life doesn't come by itself.
I know.
But glad to be here. Absolutely. It's been a while since I've been on the show.
Dude, it has. And I think the last time I saw you was were you in Phoenix for the TIA earlier this year?
Yeah, I think it was Phoenix. Yeah, I think it was TIA Phoenix, but I also recall coming across in Orlando. Also at TIA.
Yeah, dude. Man, I can't even keep up with like what month it is at this point of my life. I'm just like boom, 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 boom. I don't even know what to do anymore, man.
It's just going too fast. It's going too fast. It doesn't look like it, but I think we crossed paths in Manifest too, and that was like 2 weeks ago in January or in February. Yeah, it was. The year's just passing by too fast. There's too many things going on, and too many things to get done.
There's too many good things going on, man. Yeah. And I think, our topic of conversation today is really one of them because, I see both sides to every argument that's out there, right? The pro automation, automate everything people, and then the ones who are like automate nothing, technology can never do what a human can do. And I'm kind of firmly in the middle. Like I want automation to a point. Like because I feel like there's a definite, you can go too far. And then it's like, if we automate everything and every process on planet Earth, what are people going to do for work? And now you can say, it'll create new jobs, but it won't create the volume of jobs that are currently here. And, that's like always my biggest concern because like, I want to build a company up that employs people that can make like meaningful change out there. I don't want bots, I don't want a company of fucking bots.
But haven't you ever had the dream of just like having a company that works by itself and you can take the whole day off and be at the beach and just take the sun and maybe a few margaritas? Dude, and everything's working. Is it like ideally
psychopath, Juan? Where no, man. I would get bored with that, bro. I'm too fucking ADD to sit in the exact same spot for more than 10 minutes without being squirrel. I get bored, man. I get bored really easy.
Yeah, that happens when you get used to working so much for so often, and when nothing's moving, then you start stressing. It's kind of like when you have a kid and he's too quiet, and it's like, what's going on, and why is there no noise? So it kind of works like that, but I agree on that with you. Like not everything should be automated. There's things you should, there's things you shouldn't. That's we're definitely on the same boat on that one. But there's things that you do need to, like in this day and age, like being fast to respond to a quote, being fast to enter your load into your pipeline from your email, from from a fax, from an EDI, from wherever like your input is coming from, putting it fast in your TMS or it gets into your team's hands as fast as possible. It's all part of that competitiveness that we're going into, where in this industry, it's accelerating exponentially. There's a lot of people already implementing automated quoting tools. So if you're not doing it, you're already at a disadvantage because they're answering in 30 seconds and you're taking 5 minutes to send back a quote.
Dude,
They already have 10, 15 quotes in their inbox 30 seconds down, like as soon as they send it to their list of brokers, because we all know shippers just grab all 80 brokers that call them throughout the month and just blast them, hey, I need this lane. And then there's some of them that are automated that are answering in 15 to 30 seconds. So by the time you make 5 minutes, 10 minutes down the road, you're already late. You're not top of mind. You're not being chosen.
It's very accurate, right? And it's like, I know, because like yes, Green Screen sponsors my show. There's no denying that. But I actually use them. I'm a customer of theirs, right? So it's like their quoting and their automation. That's in like, I'm right in line with you there, man, because like their rates are scary accurate. Like, and I talk about it on the show all the time. But like, I'm actually winning business. I have revenue to back up my statements there from Freight One. And it's the truth, man, because it's like, if I didn't have that ability to pull those prices out and get them back to my customer in a fast and efficient manner, you're right, man. By the time you provide a quote to a customer in today's day and age, like Ricky Bobby did not bullshit when he said, you ain't first, you're last, like that's a very real statement.
Love Ricky Bobby. Shake and bake, baby.
That's exactly it. But and that's where it's like, to me, Juan, I'm like, I've said this before, like 90% of my day as a freight broker should be automated. The 10% that should never be automated is the time that I talk to drivers, I talk to my customers and my shippers and everything else. I don't want that to ever be automated. I want the human element factor in there. But like invoice processing, freight audit, bill pay, all of that stuff, like, dude, you should do that because human beings make errors at a higher rate than a bot will.
Yeah. And the other thing is that not a lot of people, like nowadays, especially the generation that's coming up and that's coming into the workforce in the next 5 years, Gen Z, nobody and none of us millennials ever woke up and said, yay, my job is data entry. Nobody has ever said, yay, data entry in their lives. So
that's funny. And
so there's a lot of clerical tasks inside a brokerage that really do need to be viewed under a scope, and you see as like, hey, is it worth having a person doing this? Now that opens another debate, which is automation does not destroy jobs. It makes them better. It improves quality of life.
I want to talk about that, right? Because it's like, again, I want to employ real human beings inside of my company. And I think that because like from my perspective, I look at it as, again, like there's no perfect playbook out there to find success in business, contrary to what is out there. I think that from my perspective, though, this gives me the ability to scale smart, because like the last thing I want to do, and again, I know that I'm not going to be perfect, but the last thing I want to do is hire 50 people and then have to lay off 48 of them at one point in time, right? Because I fucked up. Where it's like, I'd rather leverage technology in the right way to hire the right 5 people and then give them the tools to maximize their outreach. And from my perspective, though, and I've said this before, and I will die on this hill, I will never have cap commissions inside of my company. I will never make it hard for my people to make money, because I want to pair them with the right technology to maximize their outputs so they can make more money. I'm a capitalist at heart, all right? Fundamentally, I am a capitalist, unapologetically, but I believe in responsible capitalism, because it's not where Chris makes all the money in the world at the expense of my employees. I want to create an environment that is competitive, that they're paired with the right technology, that deliver the top value to our customers, and then that they make a ton of money along the lines as well.
No, of course, I'm on that hill with you. There's just a correct amount of capitalism. Getting too greedy is never good, and you can look at it, all the examples that Wall Street leaves us behind. That sometimes they create more damage than value that they're adding to our society and to our country. But yeah, no, like one of those situations where that I hear a lot when I'm speaking with someone that's just starting to consider the automation path is we're going to have to fire people. Not necessarily. You're going to, again, what I said before, delegating to a robot or a digital employee, ultimately what it's going to do is going to improve quality of life for your employees and your managers. Because if you think about it, once you have your process digitalized and it's automated, it also abolishes the need of micromanagement.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to micromanage your people because you already have all the data in front of me. And you can, after you have in front of it, all the data that's going through your company, all the KPIs, you don't need to be micromanaging people. You're getting all the information fed to you. So the micromanager, those supervisors that love dealing on the details with their team and on top of them and all that, that part goes away too, which is also another improvement of quality of life. There's no need to micromanage a brokerage. Everybody knows what they need to do. And facilitating those processes and those connections in between people and between processes and systems, that's fundamental for the wheels, the cogs to roll smoothly.
Yeah, it's dude. I think like those are the points in business though where I do think automation is a really good thing when it comes down to performance metrics and KPIs and processes and stuff to follow. I think that that's where it should be because I mean I feel like we've all been in a position before where there's one person who kind of knows everything and then everybody else just kind of follows their lead. But if that individual is on vacation or incapacitated or whatever, like nothing gets done, nothing gets accomplished. Right. So again, like that's where I feel like helping people make smarter decisions inside of their business to kind of replicate that. Right. Because like this might sound arrogant, but I don't give a fuck. I know a lot about this industry. Right. I want to have processes automated for people that if I'm not available, it's almost like we'd call it a freight coach genie where they could type in the question and it's essentially giving out what I would do in that instance. And I feel like there's technology that's out there that could probably build that up for people.
Yeah. I mean, even I coughed up on that, like that one person that knows everything, shamans in the tribe.
Yeah.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah.
Shamans in the tribe, that's not good because they eventually they become toxic or overburdened with everything they need to do, and that since they're the solution to everything and the stress and the anxiety that comes with that. So tribal shamans and inside a brokerage are not necessarily something good. It's always good to have that one expert, but it's also good to have that expert train everybody to the same level.
And I feel like, but that's the thing, man, is like when it comes down to training and development, like that's a great place in where I think automation can come into play, right? Like building out an actual training manual. I'm not going to sit here and throw out any names, but like, dude, I know a lot of companies who do not have training manuals. They do not.
Oh, that's very common.
Yeah,
and the smaller the brokerage, the more tribal is.
Yeah,
the passage of knowledge is verbal and taught in person, and there's no actual structured documented system where you could say like, oh, if everybody leaves, we could just start this over from zero, restart operation, and it's more on the smaller brokerage side. You'd be surprised the bigger ones too sometimes have those issues.
So I was going to say, how are you guys right now? How are you guys working with people to build in automation to an existing technological infrastructure inside of some of these companies?
Well, mostly it's like, first of all, we have to see, like, have an overview of how things are being done. And every single broker has a different TMS solution, a different tracing and tracking solution, all sorts of myriad of tech stack solutions for like every single small, potential headache. Mm-hmm. And most of them are different websites and web apps. Once we figure out how they do their process, how they go from A to B, which all brokerages do, there's no secret in that. We're all moving things from point A to point B. The only thing that changes slightly.
Well, I'm better than that. No, yeah, I mean, you're right. We're all doing the same shit.
Yeah, we all do the same. The only thing that changes is that internal machinery inside the brokerage that helps that A to go to B. And tools change and all that, but the process flows are mostly the same.
Mm-hmm.
Your POD is going to be mostly the same. Your tracing and tracking is going to be mostly the same. Your dispatching process is going to be mostly the same. Everybody has a rate con and a contract. Everybody has to confirm their dispatch. Everybody has to track their trucks. Everybody has to, chase their truckers to get their paperwork back. And we help throughout that entire process, from the input all the way to the output. So call it the intermodal industry. They still have faxes. You get a fax via email. We automate the entry into your TMS instead of having a person visually see a PDF that's how it arrives and have to type it manually into your TMS. So once it's in the TMS, we also store some information in case it's necessary for later usage. For example, at the end of the process, when you want to do POD recovery, it's like, well, how do you do it? Well, they send us text messages with images. Okay, let's digitize that process. Let's send a link to the driver so they can take the pictures in an organized fashion, label the picture that they just took, what type of document it is, send it back to the database, read it, yada yada yada, put it back into TMS and attach the file. So it all depends. It's very automation is one of those realms that, depending the challenge, the angle and the solution can be a myriad different than from another broker.
What's your definition of RPA? Because my definition of RPA is revenue producing activities. Like that's what I want. That's what I want my people focused on. My RPA.
I like that one better.
Producing activity.
I almost said the word. I was like, I try to stay away from the acronyms because they just don't help us. But
let's look at
technically speaking, it's robot process automation, right? I kind of want to stay away from it.
Give me a corporate jargon. Let's look at this from a 10,000 foot view here. What? No, I'm just kidding. But no, dude, like that's exactly what I want. That's where I think automation comes into play, right? Because I want my people focused on actual revenue producing activities as opposed to menial tasks that bog your shit down. And then all of a sudden you look up and you wasted an hour and a half on something that could literally take 5 minutes now out there. And again, it's like speed is everything. And I think, and especially in, cause like I study, like I'm just a fucking nerd because whether I'm at work or outside of work, I'm listening to podcasts, I'm reading books, audiobooks all the time about business and everything.
ADD is just too strong, man.
Dude, it's ridiculous. I look at this and it's like, you look at what's competitive in the environment. You look at Amazon right now, love them or hate them. Amazon is the top of the top out there of what people expect in business. They're the fastest, they're the cheapest, and they have a seamless return policy, right? So
Did you see Freight Caviar's list of the top 10 brokers? I think they said maybe 6 months ago. Right before on TIA. Amazon top 1.
Yeah,
that they became in less than a year as a broker, they became the 800-pound gorilla that everybody needs to deal with now.
Yeah, I know my guy Mike Sadak. He's been on my show a few times. He works at Amazon. I used to work with him back in the day. Mm-hmm. Great guy, and that's the thing, man. Is they're in everything, and it's only a matter of time. But again, they are the catalyst that what is cheap can be good and can be fast. So it's like that's where the beacon is on where you can compete. But it's like I also look at it as, all right, if you don't have their budget, which nobody does, you can't compete with them from that infrastructure perspective. But what can you do differently? What out there in the market? And again, this is a broker. What out there in the market is different? I'm taking the approach of almost going back to the basics, Juan, of human to human interaction, right? Yeah, dude, I believe in site visits more than anything. From a business development perspective, dude, the site visits I went on last week, I got more information in 3 minutes of conversation with them than I could have if I would have cold called or cold emailed them for 6 months straight.
Listen, I have a very interesting point of view on that. And it's like either the entire industry becomes hyper competitive with technology, and that's either through providers or by themselves. That raises a lot of questions. Of course, software developers are expensive. When people think about automating and implementing technology inside their brokerages, it usually comes at a heavy cost. Most small brokers don't have the budget for that. And that's where I'm like, I believe in democratizing software.
Democratizing?
Yeah. That word is just up there in my hard ones. Sorry. But going back to it, I believe in democratic software and open source. So one thing that we're striving to do, and we're gonna make more noise about in the future, is we have several open source solutions that we're gonna leave open to the public. So with do-it-yourself manuals of how to install it. How do I install this robot to read my emails, quote, fetch information from green screens, fetch information from my TMS, fetch information from multiple sources, and be able to go into that competitive race. And I believe in that open source, in that open source democratic way of doing software. There's things that require, of course, that will require much more skilled labor in order to get more creative and all that, but it's a good way to start. So that's kind of where my mindset is, because it is becoming a world where consolidation, big companies are going to start buying small companies, and it's already started, and it's going to make it much more harder for the smaller brokerages, the mom and pop shops, to stay afloat when they have to compete with behemoths like Amazon and the other big guys.
I look at it like this, man. I think, like in the tech space right now, there's a lot of technology that's out there. There's a lot of shiny objects, but there's a lot of stuff that is priced out for small businesses, right? Like you really can only afford, the larger companies are really the only ones that can afford it. And I can't wait for the tech company, especially in transportation, that comes in and is like, no, all of this shit is way overpriced. Here's what it actually costs. You just blows the lid off of it.
Yeah.
Because there's some technology out there right now that costs 4 people's salary to do it, right? And it's like, you got to look at it like this. Like a lot of the data that's out there is public data, like it's all aggregate and stuff like that. So I'm just waiting for the company that comes in to a specific niche inside of transportation and goes, you guys are all overcharging. We built all of this in-house. We got this. Here's your rate. And it's like 80% cheaper. Again, bringing in the Amazon effect on things. It's only a matter of time before somebody does that.
I want to make an announcement, and I was thinking about, I was leaving this for the last part, but I'll repeat it back in the last part. If we get any of the Freight Coach's audience that sends me an email at j@savant-automation.com with the hashtag the Freight Coach, we're going to be giving out 20 free demos of RPA, all installable, all for it. So I want to hear ideas on my inbox, see them, pass it to my engineering team, and set up those free robots for the first 20 emails that we receive from the Freight Coach.
Free RPA. So
free.
To put that into context, what is that what would that look like? If somebody emails you, what does that look like?
What does that look like? I think one of the most popular ones, we were just talking about it, just quoting. Out of the box, our engineers are ready to install it, make it work, receive some feedback, help you maintain it, and leave it free running on one of your devices. And if you want to get more complex from that, we can talk about that part too.
Is that like an email? So if I get a quote request that comes in via email, this RPA will scrape my email and it'll put together a quote for me?
Yeah, in a Word PDF format, attach it to the email, put a nice little verbiage on it. Hey, thank you for quoting with the Freight Coach. Attach, you'll find your rate. If you want to confirm this deal, send me a reply. Our sales team will contact you in the next 10 minutes.
Dude,
everybody's going to be able to answer in the first 30 seconds.
Okay, it's email
j@savant, SAVANT -automation.com.
Automation.com for what is it for the free
include
RPA?
Include hashtag the Freight Coach. Send us an email of what your idea is regarding quoting, and we'll help you implement and bring that to reality. Perfect. Even the Freight Coaches guy, I can see you sending me that email right now.
Yeah, no, I'm putting it out there to all the users on who are watching over on YouTube right now. I will drop that in the LinkedIn comments as well to put that on there. So the first 20 people to go out there, you guys, this is, if you have trouble quoting your freight right now, or you don't know what to quote on, is this for dry van reefers, stuff like that, just to put it into context? What about box trucks too? All of that?
If you have the quoting tools, we'll have the robot that will respond and consolidate your data, create a formal quote, and send it back to your customer.
Perfect.
So we can tap into DAT, we can tap into my truck stop, we can tap into whatever program program or whatever process you currently are using to quote your customers and automate it for you so you can respond faster.
Yeah. So as long as you have a subscription to green screens, DAT, truck stop, anything like that you currently use to quote your freight, this will give you an automated option for you to respond faster to all of your customers. Guys, I didn't even know Juan was going to do this. No bullshit. I'm going to better email him for this, like right now, because that tool right there, that companies out there charge a lot of money for that RPA to go into your email and everything to help you guys quote. So hit him up, you guys. Hit him up right away on that. I will put that in the chat on LinkedIn as soon as we're done with that show. That's huge, man. Holy shit.
Let's go. No, it's definitely what I'm kind of the type of people that I put my money where my mouth,
Yeah.
I put my money where my mouth.
Money where your mouth is. Yeah.
And we're gonna have a set amount of open source solutions, do it yourself, library set out to the public. October, November this year, we're gonna release it. We're definitely doing some test groups to help identify that self-install process, where it's fairly a complex piece of technology, but it's something that if you know how to go find your API key in green screens, you'll be able just to come and replace some a value inside of a line of code, and maybe somebody ends up being a developer because of this, and then magically you have an API connection to your green screens account, and then you can connect it to your robot to like do automated responses. So yeah, we're definitely going down that path.
No, dude, I like that, right? Because I mean, I feel like quoting is, I would say, outside of like the number one question that we get a lot over here is about like, how do I find customers? How do I cold call? Stuff like that. That's why I've put out multiple episodes here recently about this is literally what I say verbatim on my cold calls. This is literally what I say in every single interaction that's out there. Because again, man, like the market, just for context, it's $200 billion a year in for-hire transportation that's out there. That's the market size, right? Like I know transportation is a $900 billion a year industry, but a lot of the not-for-hire freight is included in that number. So the for-hire freight that is available to brokers alone is like $200 billion, right? So nobody has overtaken the top 5 in this industry in a very long time. Now, on the contrary, the top 5 hasn't grown either. They've actually all gone back to where they were pre-pandemic level. This is all public data that's out there, you guys. I'm not out here throwing
I guess they just take market share from each other. It's just like it's the battle of the giants.
Yeah, but like I look at it like this right here, man, like this helps all of these businesses who are out there, whether they're established, up and coming, whatever. This helps you get more competitive. What Juan is literally giving away for the first 20 people for free, that increases your output right there. So to put it into context, if 5 of your shippers all email you in the next 30 minutes, you might have a ton of time spent on a couple of all of these quotes, where this RPA can get these quotes out to all of your prospects within seconds. Or maybe, let me not oversell that, but Juan will break all of that down for you. It will help you quote all of these people faster. And now just imagine you're a small startup business, or maybe you're a lean organization. You're out there making cold calls. You might not be checking your emails because you're in the zone, and say 7 quotes come through in that time, and you didn't respond to any of them, and it's been 30 minutes. All of them are already awarded to another provider, except for with what Juan is doing. Now that gives you guys all the tool to get out there and be as competitive as the next person. And I want my listeners to get these 20.
We already got the first email, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, that's live too. Just wait till the replay comes up on iTunes and Spotify later. But that's the thing, you guys, get out there and get competitive. I'm not going to personally submit one because I want my viewers to be able to take advantage of all of this stuff and help out those individuals that are out there. But no, dude, I love it, man. I appreciate you joining me, Juan. I like to keep these shows at 30 minutes because just like everybody, I got a job to do.
Has it been 30 minutes already?
Yeah, dude, I can't just sit here and look pretty on camera all day long. Like I do have to go out there and make, fucking slang some freight. So again, what's the email address that people need to reach out to you for?
j@savant-automation.com. Just send us hashtag Freight Coach audience, and we're ready to go. I already have the first one here. Looking forward to have a really nice test batch in the next couple of weeks with the Freight Coaches audience. And we're definitely here Savant's here to prove 2 things. One, the advancement of the technology in the freight industry in itself, and to prove that, automation is not expensive or time consuming as some may think. It's not as complex. Automating a process like quoting can take a morning to implement. So, and it requires very little maintenance besides, all the smoke and mirrors the industry does throw out at us. So we're here to help advance the industry in a positive direction. And we truly do believe that in the next couple of months, we're going to start showing that to the industry. And we're going to start democratizing software and RPA for the industry.
I love it, man. Juan, thank you so much for joining me. Again, hit him up. If you guys can't find him for whatever reason, if you're watching this live on LinkedIn right now, just send me a DM. I'll put that email address up there, but send me a DM. I'll gladly put you guys in contact with Juan. We'll be back tomorrow. I think I got a solo show tomorrow, and I got guests coming on later this week. But anyways, you guys, we'll be back 8:30 a.m. Pacific, 10:30 Central. As always, if you guys got value in what you heard, subscribe to the show, share it out there to your network, because if you see value, your network's going to see value as well. I appreciate you guys. I love you guys, and we'll be talking to you soon. Dude, I love